I'm Ryan Newman, and since I started with Indiana Donor Network and Driven to Save Lives, I found out that some people think that they can't be an organ donor. The truth is, anyone can sign up to be an organ donor.
Anyone?
Anyone?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Anyone can sign up to be an organ donor. So don't count yourself out because somebody's counting on you. Go to driventosavelives.org and sign up today.
But my heart's going to you, Ryan.
Love that shirt.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, once again. Sorry about that. It helps if you hit the right button here, too. We'll kick things off here. We'll redo all the intros and stuff in a moment. But first, let's tell you what we got going on here for the people that are helping make these broadcasts possible of the Spec Corvette Series on the National Racing Network. Coming to you live from the Daytona International Speedway. We are presented by G-Stream. Race engineered, track proven. It's aerodynamics redefined. Visit them online at g-stream.com. Improved Racing is the official oil system partner of the Spec Corvette Series. Find them online at improvedracing.com. Penske Racing shocks allow you to perform with confidence and be at your best from the start. Check out their website at penskeshocks.com. Sparco is the official safety products partner of the Spec Corvette Series. From seats to suits and everything else in the world of motorsports safety, visit SparcoUSA.com. DPS Motorsports provides parts to upgrade America's favorite sports and muscle cars. Whether it's a bow tie, blue oval, or Mopar or no car, get your parts at TPSMotorsports.com. Track Spec Motorsports needs to be your first call when building or maintaining a Spec Corvette. See their extensive collection at TrackSpecMotorsports.com. Turn 1 offers a range of power steering products that are unmatched with the highest quality and reliability. Have confidence in your steering and get there at turn1steering.com. Willwood Brakes, power, control, precision. Get the best in brakes at willwood.com. And finally, Nankang Motorsport Tires have been producing excellence in tires for over 60 years and are the presenting sponsor of the Spec Corvette Series. Learn about your next set of Nankangs at nankangmotorsport.com. So once again, we'll throw the graphic back up on the screen here. Welcome, everybody, to the World Center of Racing, Daytona Beach, Florida. My name is Chris Graham. I apologize for the voice sounding a bit like hot garbage today. A little bit too much hooting and hollering at the ball game last night, but we are jacked up to be bringing you the Spec Corvette Series here today, and a big grid of cars, and there's no other way to say it than that. Let's bring up the starting lineups here for you, and we'll kick things off with a view of row number 1. On the pole out of Elbert, Colorado, it will be Robert Weston with a lap time of 2 minutes, 4 seconds, .006 seconds. And lining up on his outside will be the number 34 of Brian Curtis, only about 9/10 of a second back. Row number 2 will have West Palm Beach, Florida's Ken Mantovani in the number 04, and Miami, Florida's Marino Reyes in the number 57. Cecil Stevens out of Tampa, Florida will line up inside of row number 3 in car number 17 alongside of another Tampa, Florida native. This time it's Frank Reinhardt piloting the 53. Row number 4 of the grid will have the 124 of Ian Sullivan alongside of Winter Garden, Florida's Joey Stoddard in car number 87. Bruce Griffin out of Tampa, Florida lining up inside of row number 5, and on the outside will be the number 70 of Brian Boyd. Inside of row number 6 will be West Melbourne, Florida's James Davidson in car number 9, alongside of Valrico, Florida's Brian Rabeau in the number 54. Final row of the grid will have the 111 of Bradenton, Florida's Brandon Dennis, alongside of Brooksville, Florida's Joel McGee, piloting car number 66. 14 cars on the grid today here at Daytona, and we have on boards with a lot of them. We are currently on board, let's see, I think we're on board with, Ian Sullivan is who we're on board with here. We'll flip over here and pick up the onboard of Joey Stoddard in the number 87. Orange County Potties, the sponsor, on that one. OrangeCountyPotties.com. As we hear the cars coming to life, and they are going to roll out on to the starting grid. Also having on board with Joel McGee in the number 66. We'll get a look coming from towards the back of the grid here today with Joel. Also have a look on board with Cecil Stevens. He will be rolling out of position number 5. And an on board with Bruce Griffin as well here. Bruce rolling off from position at number 9 today. A lot of great views of these race cars here. Unfortunately, sounds like we might have a little bit of an audio issue coming from Brian Rabeau's card. Ken Manavani will also hopefully be able to have an onboard with him tomorrow as well. We see the onboard from Ken, but unfortunately it's vertical video. And well, quite frankly, here, we'll take a look here and show you. But there's the onboard from Ken. There you go, buddy. Giving us the thumbs up. We got to get the camera turned sideways tomorrow. Get this all out here in the landscape view so we can see all the sights and sounds of the World Center of Racing. Field has gotten the command to start engines. One of the interesting things that we were talking a little bit about, a lot of data acquisition going on in these cars as they're going to start to roll off onto the race course. Late January, you will see this area alive and buzzing. This is right outside of the IMSA paddock, if you're familiar with the layout of the World Center of Racing. So we'll go back on board here with Joey Stoddard. You kind of start looping your way through. You're basically right inside of the tri-oval at this point. The cars will make a hard right-hand turn, then a hard left-hand turn to get down onto pit lane. And we'll take you through the track walk here as these guys come down pit lane and get out onto the race course, because the numbers are a bit mind-boggling. Oh, look at this. We got John Wynn checking into the comments. So exciting to see so many Spec Corvettes at Daytona. Be safe, racers. Yes, I will agree with those sentiments here as we'll flip over here. We'll pick up on board with Ian Sullivan as they head down pit lane. Pit lane is speed limited. That's the words I'm looking for. Field will get out into their double file formation, or at least they'll identify where they are here, because it is a single file line. You got to get through the pit lane here at Daytona. Very, very narrow. But now they'll head out onto turn number 1. Drivers will be down to in the ballpark of about 50 miles an hour or so out of turn 1 as we'll now go on board with Cecil Stevens. out of the International Horseshoe, they pick up a ton of speed. Here's, oh baby, look at the cloud cover out here today. That was not in play this morning during qualifications. We may see some moisture and aqueous aerial discharge, if you will, out there today. Down into the West Horseshoe, and then they start to pick up speed, and it is a lot of it. Making your way out of the West Horseshoe, down towards turn number 6. This is a very sharp, almost 180-degree corner that leads up onto the 34 degrees of banking here at Daytona. We see this at the Rolex every year, and it is incredible how fast these guys pick up speed. Spec Corvettes will be among the fastest race cars on the racetrack today. Already at 100 miles an hour as they're getting up onto the banking. 120, 130 miles an hour, upwards of 150 by the time they're exiting NASCAR Turn 2, and almost 160 miles an hour by the time they're in the braking zone for the bus stop chicane, the Le Mans chicane, to use the new name of that corner complex. And it's a good thing that bus stop is there, because if it's not, these guys, I can't tell you how quick these guys would be going by the time they got through turns 3 and 4 of the NASCAR circuit. You got to slow way, way down to get through the bus stop. It is a longer complex than it feels like. You watch it on a regular TV broadcast and you go, yeah, okay, it's a quick little chicane, kind of a left, right, right, left. It is a very long set of corners as they get doubled up here. Hard back to the throttle. Again, upwards of 170 miles an hour by the time they get to the start-finish line. Oh, this is going to be intense. Field is coming around. They will get ready to see the green flag. Out of turn 4. Onto the front straightaway. We're just going to let you enjoy the noise for a minute here, folks. Green flag's out. We are underway here at Daytona. Still side by side up ahead for position number 2 as they get down into the West Horseshoe for the first time today. Looking at about 20-25 minutes of racing action. Going to be in the ballpark of about 10 laps, really pushing these motors hard. Through 6, multiple different options for lines. On board with Cecil Stevens now. Check out the speedometer in the lower right-hand corner. Up over 130. Robert Weston, he gone. Checked out at the front of the field. That's got to be 10 car lengths by the time they get to the chicane for the first time. Now move over to Bruce Griffin's on board. The tricky part about Daytona And back here over to Cecil. Big hard onto the brakes now. You're at top speed, and you got to really try to get these cars wound up. Abusing the Willwood brakes. Those Nankang tires, a lot of work going into those Penske shocks to get these cars. It's a lot of pitch and movement in the race cars. You get down and grab the brakes. Just ahead here of Cecil Stevens, that's your top three. Weston, Manavati, and Curtis. And Weston lost a whole lot of ground into turn number 1 that time. He was 1.1 seconds up at the start-finish line. Now Ken Manavati's closed that down to about 2.5 car lengths. Oh man, Manavati is right there now. The question becomes, do we see rain? This is the first spot you'll see it. Out over NASCAR turns 1 and 2. And quite frankly, that's not a spot that I want to see raindrops for the first time. Swap over, go on board here with Joey Stoddard. He's running in the 9th position. Ian Sullivan just ahead of him on the racetrack. And the draft is really going to come into play here. You just carry so much speed. Corvettes punch a big hole in the air, but you got to get some of that air to the front of the race car. Otherwise, you risk blowing the thing absolutely sky high. So we'll go on board now with Joel McGee, a little bit back of the pack here. Slide up further forward in the field, get a hold of Bruce Griffin. And unfortunately, the cell phone signal is fairly spotty down here at Daytona for these guys. So back on board with Cecil Stevens coming around a vintage Porsche. And out of turn NASCAR for that time, Ken Manavati able to take the lead. He held a half-second advantage over Weston at the start-finish line. Curtis now up into position number 3. Cecil Stevens run 4th, and he's only 3 seconds back of the race leader. Got a good look here at Cecil in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. The hands so quiet through this part of the racetrack. As Manavati having the peak Weston having the peak outside of Manavati. Through the banking. Putting every one of those 380 horsepower to use here. And actually, I would tend to think the 380 foot-pound torque limit that the Spec Corvette series has introduced, that would really come into play here as well, as Manavati holds a 0.2 of a second lead at the start-finish line. A little bit of a late entry there by Stevens into turn 1 that time. But this is where that torque comes into play. It's out of the slow corners, and where the faster you get off the line, so to speak, the quicker you're going to reach that top speed, and the more top speed you're going to be able to carry. So here, down 48, 49 miles an hour through the International Horseshoe, you're already up over 100 miles an hour as you approach the kink. That looks like an absolute wall of water that is right outside of NASCAR 2 there. approaching the 8-minute mark in today's race. As caution is out, yellow flag is out on the racetrack. Everybody will have to slow down and maintain position. Caution flag is out here at the Daytona International Speedway with 8.5 minutes complete. We'll see if we can get word from race control on what the issue for the caution might be. Or anybody down there at the track, quite frankly. If you're able to see something, we are not, but let's cut here over to the car of Ian Sullivan. As Ian makes his way around the race course. I haven't seen anything out the front of the cars yet. That's really our best indicator. Walking the track after the Rolex in January, I noticed you see the vibration here. Oh, yeah, it looks like we've got one car that has gone off here at the West Horseshoe. Ambulances are out. That's never something you want to see. But the racing surface here at Daytona, especially in the infield, very rough, very bumpy. That's not just the fact that this is a racing suspension that's built more for performance than comfort here. The super speedway part of Daytona is fairly smooth. The same cannot be said for the infield portions. A lot of bumps. This place is very, very rough. Hard on equipment. But now you can see the entire field getting packed up behind Ken Mantovani, your race leader. And the field will not pace back to the green flag. When we go green, the track is green and racing resumes. It's not like your typical race where you'll have, an IMSA race where you'll have the field picked up by a pace car. And when the pace car pulls in, everybody goes racing again. If the Spec Corvettes are not packed up with everybody, they're just not packed up with everybody. With the field circulating under caution, race time tomorrow should be about the same in that kind of 1:45 to 2 o'clock time frame as the Daytona International Speedway safety and emergency teams continue to work down here in the West Horseshoe. Pretty cool to see some fans hanging out there as well. We'll go back on board here now with Cecil Stevens. Now 13 minutes in the books. And these are only 20-minute races, so we're now down to inside of 7 minutes remaining. At full speed, running lap times in the 2-minute and change mark, we would be looking at about 3 to go. At these significantly reduced speeds that they are running, that's just not going to happen. We're looking at maybe 1 lap of green flag racing if we're able to get back to green. This race, part of the Daytona double at Daytona. I got to say a huge thank you to everybody involved on the SARC side of things as well for helping make this event possible. There you go. Checkered flag has come out at the 14-minute mark, and unfortunately that will be the end of today's Spec Corvette Series race. Ken Mantovani will pick up the win, as it looks like just a little bit too much damage down there in the West Horseshoe, that this race will have to go checkered early. Ken Mantovani picking up the win over Robert Weston. Brian Curtis holding on for a 3rd place finish. Cecil Stevens will come home 4th. 5th will go to Marino Reyes. 6th place finisher today is Bruce Griffin. 7th, Frank Reinhardt. 8th, Joey Stoddard. Ian Sullivan in 9th, and Brian Boyd rounding out the top 10. 11 through 14, James Davidson, Brian Rabot, Joel McGee, and Brandon Dennis. Tough break for these guys. Hope everybody is okay down there in the West Horseshoe. You really don't like seeing races get flagged early either. Definitely not a good deal going on down there in the West Horseshoe, but we'll be back. 20 minutes of racing action will be on the card for us here tomorrow as well. But with that, it will be time for us to wrap up our coverage here today from Daytona. And, well, we got to get all of the sponsor reads and all that stuff in for you one more time here. Today's National Racing Network presentation of the Spec Corvette Series from Daytona is presented by G-Stream. Race engineered, track proven, its aerodynamics redefined. Visit online at g-stream.com. Improved Racing is the official oil system partner of the Spec Corvette Series. Find them online at improvedracing.com. Penske Racing shocks allow you to perform with confidence and be at your best from the start. Check out their website at penskeshocks.com. Sparco is the official safety products partner of the Spec Corvette Series. From seats to suits and everything else in the world of motorsports safety, visit SparcoUSA.com. TPS Motorsports provide parts to upgrade America's favorite sports and muscle cars. Whether it's a bow tie, blue oval, or Mopar or no car, get your parts at TPSMotorsports.com. TrackSpec Motorsports needs to be your first call when building or maintaining a Spec Corvette. See their extensive collections at TrackSpecMotorsports.com. Turn 1 offers a range of power steering products that are unmatched with the highest quality and reliability. Have confidence in your steering and get there at turn1steering.com. Willwood Brakes, power, control, precision. Get the best in brakes at willwood.com. Nankang Motorsport Tires have been producing excellence in tires for over 60 years and are the presenting partner of the Spec Corvette Series. Learn about your next set of Nankangs at nankangmotorsport.com. So with that, we will wrap up our coverage here from Daytona International Speedway. James Watson will join me in the booth tomorrow. Looking forward to have my buddy here in the booth with me once again. I don't like doing these things alone, man. Thank you, everybody, who is watching on YouTube, checking in the comments. We appreciate you hanging out with us. But until tomorrow, for everybody here at the National Racing Network who helps us get these shows on the air, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for coming to hang out with us, and we will talk to you all soon. Have a great night, everybody.